Hello, YouTube. This is Uncle Barrett tuning with you today, just doing some more brain dumping. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 ways that you can overcome grief. I recently lost someone who I cared about a lot, and it's been kind of difficult, weird, strange, all the above, only because I wasn't expecting them to be gone so soon. But here are 5 ways that you know you can that may have helped me, but maybe can also help you to overcome whatever grief that you may be going through. And before I get started, it's okay to grieve, guys. I know there's a lot of people out there that try to act like they're tough or that nothing bothers them, or and that they're just a stone cold killer, right? But it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad about something. But I'm gonna go over some 5 things that kind of helped me out. Um, Try to exercise. And what I mean by that is, even if you're not a heavy gym goer or like lift weights or do like strenuous type of work, just going outside on a sunny day or whatever and just getting a walk can do wonders for you. There's something about that sun. If you get some sun, it can help you out as far as changing. I guess your dopamine levels, your mindset, just help you be a little bit more positive. It just kind of rejuvenates. It's like a battery being rejuvenated. Um, Try to go, and the next one is try to go volunteer. Um, I know, at least in my opinion, I feel like for the most part, we kind of live in a really selfish society, but there's something about volunteering to where helping somebody out of a difficult situation, or it could be just something as simple as, what, I'm deciding I'm going to go out and pick up trash in my neighborhood. It's something about that it just takes your mind off of what's bothering you, because at that moment you're kind of working on somebody else's problems, or another situation, another problem, trying to make a solution for it. And so I think volunteering helps out a lot. It just kind of makes you not selfish and kind of just takes your mind off of the negative things that are going in your personal life and gets you to focus on somebody else. And you never know, you might meet somebody that's in a worse situation that you are, and it might help you to become more grateful in terms of just helping you get out of your slump. Um, the third thing is, I think this is very important, acknowledge the pain, but don't stay there too long. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you're not careful, you can fall into a deep depression and just sink and not get out, and just be stuck in this hamster wheel of negativity for a long time if you're not careful. For the, I guess, the Bible believers, I believe it says, at least Moses gave the instructions that, um, I could be, I'm gonna paraphrase this. Don't quote me on this part, but in the Bible it says, at least in the old Jewish traditions and Hebrew Old Testament, I think they were allowed to grieve for about 30 days if somebody passed away that was close to them. They had 30 days to grieve. And, I'm not going to say give yourself 30 days, but I will say just don't stay there too long, because 30 days could turn to 30 years if you're not careful, you know? And so the next one, the fourth one, is to be creative. Try to create something. For me, I've just been writing a lot. It's been helping me out a lot as far as just getting all my thoughts out. And truthfully, it's just been helping me out. For others, it could be music. It could be doing arts and crafts. It could be doing woodwork. But I would encourage not to just try to, there's so many different things you can create, like a business or whatever. But I would say just focus on trying to do something, to like build something or create something with your hands, um, just by yourself, and don't stop until you like the outcome of it. It's just another thing to help keep your mind busy. Um, one of my one of the things that my grandma used to tell me when I was younger. She used to like working on a lot of puzzles. I mean, she still does once in a while. But she told me, she said that working on this puzzle just helps me keep my mind busy. Now, I don't know what she was thinking about in those days, but as an adult, I think we can all agree that life just hits you sometimes. And, if you're not careful, you can just get depressed real easy. So, playing little games like, doing puzzles or being creative can help you keep your mind busy, to keep your mind off of the negative thoughts. And then the last one is, if you're not really like an adventurous person, like this always on the go, extrovert, just meet new people, I would say to try to find new settings, a new atmosphere to hang out with. I'm not gonna say a bar, that's too easy, right? But try to find or look up an event that you might be interested in. It could be like I don't know, people, I can't, a Renaissance thing or something like that. Like if you're in the Renaissance, dressing up like a knight, or a lady, a damsel in distress or whatever. Um, if you're into stuff like that, try to find something that may be fun. And you know, um, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to talk to people, but if you go to those events, sometimes you might meet people who you click with that you know might help you make new memories. And so those are my 5 tips. But now I'm going to kind of talk about just um, my personal thoughts about death and things like that. So my friend that recently passed, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shocked because people die all the time, but honestly, I didn't expect to hear her be found dead in Nashville just randomly like that. Um, it just kind of broke my heart. I'm not gonna say that I cried a lot or anything like that. I've just been shocked about it, and just in my mind, just reminiscing all the positive memories that we had together. Um, but I guess like when she died, it kind of made me think about my Uncle Willie. Again, I kind of made this channel in honor of him because he taught me so much. But I remember when I was younger, I went to a funeral. I think it was my great Uncle Thomas's funeral, so it would have been my Uncle Willie's older brother. I remember Uncle Willie kind of sitting there and acknowledging the funeral for what it was. But I remember he was just kind of smiling, but also crying at the same time. And, after the funeral was kind of over, I got a chance to talk to him for a second. I said, how do you how do you deal with death? And his response to me was, he said that you just get used to it. Now, to me, at that age, I didn't understand like what he meant, but obviously, the older you get, life just doesn't stop. It keeps throwing things at you. So I think it goes back to, that you're going to deal with a lot of pain and grief, but, sometimes you have to save your tears. You can't cry for everything. Sometimes you just have to kind of keep going and keep believing and hope for the best in certain situations. Um, I don't know if you all have seen the Never Ending Story. I probably seen it like maybe 3 or 4 times. But there was just one part in the story or movie that, you know, I think a lot of people may have remembered it if you watched that movie, which was the horse scene when Atreyu was crossing the swamp of sadness, and then the horse got stuck and started sinking, and Atreyu's like yelling at the horse, saying like, you stupid horse, get up or you'll die. And that was kind of like my one of my 5 ways, I guess, relating to that, which is to acknowledge your pain, but do not stay there long. Um, just don't stay there long, because if you stay in your pain too long, I mean, you might not get back up like a Trey's horse. And so we have to keep in mind that we have to keep going. I heard another quote from somebody, maybe on YouTube or whatever. They said that Of course, I get depressed, but that's what makes me a man is that I keep going. And I'm still, even though I'm in my 30s or whatever, I'm learning something every day and trying to refine like my mind and grow as an individual. So I thought that was very helpful for me personally. But I would say also that if you love somebody, you know, I would just make sure that you tell them before it's too late, because once they're gone, they're gone. You can sit there and have a bunch of what ifs or whatever, but I would say that's the biggest regret, to not have the what ifs. Like, always try to be honest about how you feel about somebody. Um, Even if they reject you, I mean, me personally, I think it's better to let them know than to be wondering like, well, I wonder what if, or I should have done this, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And so I would say, just if you love somebody, let them know. Um, there's no point in holding on to bitterness or grudges or anything like that. All that stuff is just a waste of time. And like I said, if somebody rejects you or doesn't reciprocate that love that you show them or express to them, at least you can live and move on and know that you at least tried. And so that's just kind of my thoughts for today. As far as like just that situation, like I said, for me, it was a shock. I'm not gonna lie, it was a shock, And so all I can hope is that you know that this chapter won't last long in my personal life. That the next one will be a little bit more joyous. But for everyone else that's dealing with grief, I would just say, just keep on keeping on. Never give up. Just keep trying your best, and hopefully things will work out in your favor in the long run. Until the next time, y'all stay easy, stay blessed. God bless y'all.